we're going to speak now or listen now to Amy.
So hi everyone, I'm Amy Montgomery. This is my little fur baby bear who may pop up during my talk. I'm presenting from Gundagara country in the beautiful Southern Highlands, New South Wales. That always was and always will be Aboriginal land. And before I start my presentation today, I would just like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land and pay my deepest respect to elders past, present and emerging. I feel very privileged to be speaking at this GANA event today in Nurse Practitioner Week. And the theme this year for nurse practitioners is there's an essential difference in healthcare. So I'm going to spend a couple of minutes talking through my career journey and then about my baby enhanced clinic that I have been developing. So I moved out of home as a young 17-year-old while still studying my HSC, and I was working at Big W and I needed a better job. Back then, jobs were advertised in the local newspaper. It was like the Leader. I was living in the Sutherland Shire, and there was this job that was advertised for a community personal care assistant. And I thought to myself, yeah, I could do that. I hadn't sat my HSC yet, so I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I had early entry into 2 uni degrees for nursing, but I was tossing up between medicine and forensic science. Got the job as a community care personal care assistant and fell in love with not only nursing, but aged care. I went and enrolled in my Bachelor of Nursing at UTS, and I commenced that in 2008 once I finished my HSC. And I also then moved into residential aged care as a personal care assistant. I graduated from my Bachelor of Nursing in 2010 and became a registered nurse in 2011. In my new grad interview, I think the only reason why they ended up giving me a job is because I talked for 15 minutes about how I wanted my rotation to be in aged care. And I think they fell off their seat because no one else ever wanted to put up their hand to work in aged care. So I got a new grad position at St. George Hospital, and I was lucky enough to have both of my rotations in aged care in my new grad year. And they actually gave me a scholarship in 2012 to do my grad cert in aged care through the Australian College of Nursing. I became the team leader of the aged care ward in my second year out of nursing, and then went on to do my Masters of Science in Dementia Care at University of Wollongong between 2013 and 2015. This is where I met Vicky Trainer, and I started to develop my love for research. During that time, I had various positions around the hospital. I was the clinical nurse educator in aged care. I was a clinical nurse specialist. I also acted as the wound care CNC and became the aged care CNC in that time. Then in 2016, after I told myself never again am I studying, I enrolled in my nurse practitioner degree at USyd. I was lucky enough to get a transitional nurse practitioner position also at St. George Hospital, working for a service called Geriatric Flying Squad. This is a nurse practitioner-led service in which we go out to residential aged care facilities to treat people in their home, essentially, to avoid hospital admissions wherever we could. Not to say that older people don't deserve to be transferred to hospital, but it was about doing the right treatment in the right place at the right time, in line with the individual's wishes. I then became an endorsed nurse practitioner in 2019. I did commence my PhD in my last year of my NP degree, with Vicky Trainer being one of my supervisors, and I commenced my PhD in 2018, and I should, fingers crossed, be submitting next year. In 2020, in the height of COVID and just issues in the nursing world, I decided to dabble in and move from full-time clinical practice to full-time academic. And I joined the permanent full-time team at the School of Nursing at UOW in 2020, but continued to work part-time as a nurse practitioner for the Geriatric Flying Squad. I had this dream, and I've had a dream for a while, of actually setting up a nurse practitioner-led clinic. And I was lucky enough to meet Hazel and Lynn, at the AAG conference in 2019, pre-COVID, when we were face-to-face, and I talked Hazel's ear off about how she opened up her nurse practitioner clinic, and it started to give me an idea. I was lucky enough to have Vicky, who guided me to pitch my idea of having a nurse practitioner-led memory clinic at the Research Institute at the University of Wollongong. I went along, this little nurse, I felt, going along to talk to this big COO of this massive research institute to pitch my idea of, please let me have a nurse practitioner-led clinic. And I honestly thought that I'd probably get laughed out the door, but they didn't. And they actually said to me, we actually have somebody who wants to donate $100,000. Will you write a pitch? So madly went away that weekend and madly wrote a business pitch, and they picked me. And then from there, we steamrolled the Enhanced Clinic. And this opened in September this year. An Enhanced Clinic is a nurse practitioner-led post-diagnostic dementia care clinic aimed at improving the well-being and quality of life for not only the person living with dementia, but their carer as well. I was quite often seeing in clinical practice that people receive their diagnosis of dementia, see you later, I'll see you in 12 months' time, and they're left to navigate a very complex aged care system, and the carers are often expected to do things and not care for themselves. So the clinic is led by myself, but I do not do this alone, and I have a wonderful team, and I've just got a bit more information about the clinic in my next couple of slides. So the clinic has 2 locations, one at the University of Wollongong in Wollongong, and one down in the south coast of Nowra, to target more people living in South New South Wales in regional areas. We have a whole team. We have an exercise physiologist, a clinical nurse consultant who does cognitive stimulation. We have Kelly Marriott Statham, who is on this call, who is our social media manager, as well as our director of education programs. We have a mental health nurse who will be running carer support groups. We also have another registered nurse who is a yoga instructor and a personal trainer who will be running our yoga and meditation sessions. And just recently, we have 2 dietitians that have also come on board. So there's a whole team of us. We do have support from Vicky Trainer and other academics in UOW and 3 geriatricians that also support us. And we have set up this clinic as a phase 2 clinical trial, in which we're hoping to develop evidence that our program actually works to improve the well-being and quality of life for people living with dementia and their carers. I'm just going to do a little bit of a plug about our amazing Instagram page that you can follow. It's enhance_clinic_. And I just want to give another huge shout out to Kelly, who is the absolute creative brains behind our social media page. On our social media page, you'll be able to find further information. There's a link to our website, but there's also a link to our contact details. And either you can send us a direct message or you can call to find more about the appointment. The great thing about this clinic is you don't need a referral, and our Wollongong clinic is bulk built.
Wow, thank you, Amy. So inspiring and so wonderful to see what you've done with that idea 3 years ago and how it's just blossomed. And what an opportunity we all have to just follow a passion like that. Well done. I'll definitely follow you on Instagram now that I know a little more about how to find you. And it's just wonderful to see nursing take such strong leadership and provide such fantastic healthcare. Thank you, Amy.
Kelly has put the link to our social media page.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Kelly. Amazing. Thank you.